I mean, I could play. I could play pretty good. I mean, hopefully I get on one of these celebrity all-star teams, and I'll show you guys what I can do on the court.
You've never done that before? You never got into one of those games?
No.
I'd like to see that because, boy, what was the game we watched? Remember the NBA game? And you said, who was it, Lisa Leslie?
Oh, she was the worst player on the floor.
She had a tough time.
She did. And who was, there were a couple of musicians, I believe, or singers, those guys were good.
And they were killing
what's his name was good, too? Terrell Owens. He can play some ball.
Oh, yeah.
Really
he's
good.
a hell of an athlete.
Yeah.
I wonder if you're better than Roy Jones.
A lot better than Roy Jones.
Really?
I put money on that.
Wow, that's pretty bold.
He wasn't bad.
I know, and I'm not bad either, trust me.
Well, you're a lot bigger. You're
Yeah.
6'3", he's about 5'11", so.
Yeah, but I got more skills.
Lefty or righty? You shoot lefty?
Righty.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You're a natural righty, that's right?
Yeah, I'm a natural righty, but I box lefty.
You switched it.
How did that happen?
I think most because my father was my father's a natural lefty, and when I was younger, he would bring me to the gym, and I think just looking at him and watching him train and stuff, I just emulated his style.
Pretty good, because I think that's a pretty good advantage. We see it the other way. A lot of natural southpaws get converted into orthodox fighters, but this is the other way, and lefties present problems for opponents.
Exactly. I think my father knew that, and I think that's mainly the reason that he turned me to that style.
Why would in the past? Why would southpaws naturally get switched to orthodox? Do you know?
I think that part of the reason, and I'm just guessing on this from talking to a few of the old guys that were, used to train. It was easier to train. They wanted to train everybody the same way.
Yeah.
Wiggy Wright's a natural right-hander too, but he fights lefty. So I mean,
he's done all right with it too.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's face it. You don't get to see a lot of lefties sparring.
I would think you'd want to switch more people. Right?
If you can
do it.
But the guy's got to be a good enough athlete to pull it off.
Yeah, actually, the gym that I grew up, that I trained at, my amateur trainer that trains me, he trains. He has a couple other kids that are natural right-handers, but he trains that are lefties, and they're good. And one of the kids' name is Tremaine Williams. And he's a 7-time national champion. So,
good deal.
Not bad.
Steve and Dave down here at the Hard Rock. Chad Dawson sitting down with us.
I see I'm equally inept either way. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, there you go. That's why we're doing this. 175-pound champ. I just call you the champ because I don't want to keep track of the belts. I know it was a big deal for you to get a hold of a belt, but
it's not a big deal anymore.
Yeah, that's what I think. The first time you get it, maybe it's that badge of honor, but after that,
just like I got a belt. After you show it to everybody, it's like a toy you get.
Well, it used to be a big deal.
Yeah,
years ago.
Yeah.
But once you start getting involved, we talk about this all the time. Once you start getting involved in the sanctioning body game and the belt game, and then 5 different guys who were champs in the division. Because I can't name the other champs.
There can only be one champion.
Well, that's true.
And there really is.
The thing that always drove me nuts about the sanctioning organizations is if you were the WBA champion, then the IBF doesn't rate you at all. Well, how's that possible?
Yeah,
that doesn't.
You're
make
not a
any
top 10
sense.
fighter. Kind of silly. All right, well, let's. I want to get into this fight. Boy, I knew this would happen. We were talking about the fight earlier. From my vantage point, I thought you beat Tarver convincingly. Mm-hmm. I didn't think you could destroy him. I didn't think you beat the crap out of him. It was one of those good scoring fights, and you had to get the fight. I mean, you beat him to the punch. You landed more punches when the exchanges happened. Mm-hmm. You clearly were faster. But you did win, and now he's coming out and saying, well, it wasn't really Chad, it was me.
Well, we'll see what happens Saturday. I mean, what would the excuse be Saturday? I mean, I'm ready to fight, and, I did a job last time, and I think this time I'm going to do what you said I didn't do last time. I didn't beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
I'm looking to do that this fight.
Well, he said basically his defense for last time was that he just fought too much from a defensive standpoint. He didn't let his hands go. Is that what you viewed? Was he kind of afraid or?
No, I think he was in a defensive posture the whole fight just because I was too fast, I was quick, and he just didn't want to get nailed with anything. And I think he felt the power on his gloves when he caught him on the gloves, and he just didn't want to get hit.
Well, I think that if he's going to be more offensive in this fight, honestly,
going to play into my hand.
I do. Yeah, I think
exactly.
at this point in time, you've got to be considered the superior guy in there, and that should definitely make life more dangerous for him.
That's what we talked about in training camp. The whole training camp, he's going to come. He's going to be more aggressive. He's going to try to throw more punches, and that's okay because.
Do you think he actually will, or is that just pre-fight talk?
I mean, it's different. It's like we just talked about that earlier. what you say you're gonna do that night is different from what you're gonna do that night. You say you're gonna do it, but it's his 40-year-old legs and body gonna say let him do it.
Well, he may not be able to do it physically. I think Dave's addressing the mental side of it. Yeah. He's saying he's going to do it. Will he do it? Because, frankly, to me, outside of the money, and it is a good amount of money, what's the purpose of going in and fighting the same way? Because he can't beat you like that. That was clear last time.
Exactly.
So what do you think? When push comes to shove, is he trying to convince himself, or is he actually going to go in and really try to mix it up?
I think he's trying to convince himself, but, I mean, if it's funny when your mind says, when your brain tells you to react, but your body doesn't react to it. I think that's kind of the situation that he's in. I mean, he's been there. He's been around the game. He's been in some good fights. He's took some punishment. He's given out some punishment. But at the end of the day, I'm 26 years old. He's 40 years old. I have every advantage. I mean, there's not much that he could change from the last fight to this fight. There's nothing he can really change, in my opinion. Maybe he will come out and be more aggressive, throw more punches. But how long can he sustain that momentum?
Doesn't sound like you're real worried about the fact he's 3-0 in rematches.
Nah, I've been put that out of my mind.
It's a good selling point for the fight, though.
Yeah,
good way of marketing it.
Yeah. But I've been put that out. I put that out of my mind the day I stepped in training camp. I mean, he beat Roy Jones Jr. in the rematch. He beat Glenn Johnson in the rematch. He beat Eric Harder in the rematch. I beat Glenn Johnson. It took me one time to beat Glenn Johnson. It took me one time to beat Eric Harder.
So how important is the marketing end of it now? Making sure that enough people out there are excited by the prospect of seeing Chad Dawson fights, that you start getting those kind of dollars that some of the other guys get.
I mean, this fight marketable. I know that it's not very marketable because a lot of people didn't want to see this fight. I mean, honestly, I didn't even want this fight again, but he had the rematch clause.
Right.
I mean, so I just got to go out on Saturday night and this is my debut on HBO, so I definitely want to go out and I want to impress the fans. I want to impress HBO, and I just want to catch the eyes of the Thomas Adamax, the Bernard Hopkins, let them know that I am a real legit fighter and I am at the top of the division. And if you consider yourself to be the best, then you have to go through me.
It's exactly what we talked about yesterday. We're talking to Chad Dawson, who's got the fight coming up against Antonio Tarver. It's out here at the Hard Rock in the Joint. Tickets still available. We'll give away a set of tickets in about 5 minutes. That whether you want the rematch or not, now it's on HBO, and that's not to denigrate Showtime. We like the guys over at Showtime too, but you're going to get a bigger audience, and you've got your own showcase weekend here, so you should be motivated because you need to send a message.
Yes, exactly.
It's almost like you need to force some of those guys you just mentioned to hear from boxing fans and media and say, enough is enough. Let's get some fights here.
Yeah, that's what we need. I mean, and nowadays in boxing, the best aren't fighting the best. That's not what we're seeing. Bernard Hopkins called out Trinidad. He called out Freddie, what's his name? Frotch, the kid Frotch.
Oh, Frotch.
He wanted to fight Thomas Adamek, who I beat. I mean,
he actually, I cannot believe I didn't see that the comment on Trinidad until this morning. I was reading, I forget what, maybe it was a USA Today.
He wants to fight Tito Trinidad.
That's the rematch. We had Bernard on last week, and he didn't mention that. I mean, if he had said that to us, come on,
that's worse than the Tarver rematch. Me and Tarver.
Well, what he did say though,
it's a lot. I mean, come on, it's a lot worse.
What he did say with us last week was talking about a prospective fight with you. Bernard basically was saying, it's paraphrasing what he said, but it's like, well, I'm going to have to get most of the money because I'm the one who's going to drive the promotion. So how does that sit with you?
Let's just fight, man.
I mean, he seemed to think that you were stuck on 50-50, or, I mean, is that what it's going to come down to, is money?
We haven't even talked about money. Nobody's ever even mentioned anything about any money. I mean,
he made it sound like there's been negotiations ongoing.
He did. Yeah.
As Chad turns to his manager, Mike Crissio.
I haven't heard anything about no negotiations or anything. I mean, let's just fight, man. Stop all the bull crap and let's just fight. I mean, if you say you're the best, every time I look on the internet, I go to the ratings, they have Bernard rated above me. He's 1, I'm 2. 1 and 2. Don't you think 1 and 2 should fight?
That's the idea. That's why they have the Super Bowl in the NFL.
It's been like that for about a year and a half now. I mean, let's just fight, man. I don't really care about the money. Let's just fight. I mean, I'm pretty sure the money will be good for both of us, so let's just fight, man. It's going to happen eventually. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it's not, it's not. I mean, but I'm going to continue fighting. I mean, he's getting older. I'm getting younger.
Oh, and he did admit that. I mean, that's one of the things he said is that, hey, I'm 45, I don't care.
Yeah.
So, he's going to drive a hard bargain, I guess, but it sounds like he's trying to make the bargain, and there hasn't even been a discussion yet. Interesting stuff.
All right, we'll let you run. You got the weigh-in coming up in roughly an hour and a half. We appreciate a couple minutes. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.